Good to talk to you today, Robert. There have, of course, been a lot of different outbreaks of fighting, sectarian violence since the fall of Assad. How different, how significant do you think what is happening now is?
This recent outbreak in Sweida is distinctive for two reasons. Number one, it involved Israel, and in previous instances of sectarian violence in Syria, we haven't had an outside power intervene and bomb one side in the fighting. In this case, the Israeli Air Force striking and striking hard against the Syrian government. The second reason this is different is that Sweida, in a sense, is itself divided among different Druze leaderships. And when the Syrian government tried to intervene, we just saw a tweet from Secretary of State Rubio urging the Syrian government to intervene. When it tried to do so on July 14th, the leadership of one of those Druze factions, that leadership controls a big militia, and they ambushed the Syrian security forces coming down to see them, which set off a whole series of additional rounds of fighting. So it's distinctive and it's worrisome, and I hope the ceasefire will hold.
How much control, then, do you think this government really has?
It depends on where you're talking about within Syria. The Syrian government has control over major cities in Western Syria, the population centers, if you will. So I'm talking about Damascus, just to the north of Damascus, the cities of Homs and Hama. It controls most of Aleppo, although there is a Kurdish faction which is still holding some neighborhoods. But it does not control Sweida very firmly, and it certainly does not control areas under a Syrian Kurdish militia, which in the past worked with Western countries to fight ISIS. The Syrian government has almost no control there.
So the US is pushing in one way. It wants a more centralised, strong government in Syria. Israel pulling in the other. I mean, it is no secret that Israel prefers its neighbours to be weaker and fragmented. Can America keep Israel in check here, do you think?
That's a great question. It depends really on whether or not there is political willpower in Washington to do that. We will see. It was interesting to me that in the tweet you just showed from Secretary of State Rubio, he used the word inclusive. That is a new word suggesting that Washington would like to see the Damascus government do more to bring minority groups into governance of the country. That is a new word for the Trump administration to use.
That's interesting you've highlighted that, because my next question was going to be, is this vision for a Syria which runs in a more federal way with different groups running different areas? I mean, is that vision, do you think, dead in the water? Does it have to be something centralised, but perhaps something centralised with different groups actually in that central government?
Well, I don't think Westerners know the answer to that question. I think Syrians have to negotiate amongst themselves. And so the real question in front of the government in Damascus right now is, can it set up a process whereby everyone's opinions are heard about the future of Syria? It would help hugely in a country where everyone is afraid of everyone, different communities are afraid of each other, to have accountability imposed upon those who commit atrocities, whether they be from the government or if they're from opposition groups or minority militias. If there was some accountability and punishment, visible public punishment that deterred future atrocities, that would begin to restore some confidence in a way forward.
And in terms of the violence on the ground, what about ISIS? Fears that it's regrouping, that it's growing again. How real are those fears, do you think?
Well, there certainly is a problem of ISIS, especially in the eastern part of the country, although there are stories I've heard from people on the ground in Damascus that there are signs of ISIS even being present in the capital. But I have to say, ISIS is not the biggest problem confronting Syria today. The biggest problem confronting Syria is two visions of the future unitary state or decentralized state, and people who are fighting over that vision, committing atrocities, and there's no accountability.
Which system do you think would work better?
I myself have to tell you, I spent 5 years in Iraq after the Saddam Hussein regime fell, and setting up a federal system is difficult. It's not impossible, but it's certainly difficult. And at the same time, if there is not agreement on a constitution and its provisions, you actually end up worse off. So Syrians need to negotiate.
Do you think America has taken its eye off the ball a bit with Syria, and do you think it's possibly gone down the wrong route? We saw, of course, President Trump meeting the new leader when he was out in the Middle East. He called him an attractive, tough guy, didn't he? Do you think that was the right way to proceed?
Yes, I give the Trump administration real credit for moving expeditiously ahead. There is no alternative today to Ahmed Shara as the interim president of Syria. There's no other political figure out there who commands much support. So lifting sanctions gives Syrian business people, the Syrian private sector, which is active, which is a real thing, a chance to access international capital markets and begin to rebuild the country. So lifting those sanctions is really important, and I'm glad to see the British are moving in that direction too. So, but multiple tracks have to go all at the same time, and there needs to be a track which has political discussions about the future of the country. I didn't say elections. Elections can come much later. And there also has to be a transitional justice track where people who have committed crimes in the past or in the more recent past are held accountable for those crimes.
Do you think peace can be restored there?
I do. Syria historically had these different communities living in peace with each other. But let's be frank, especially the Syrian Kurdish community was treated very unfairly during the Assad regime, denied passports, denied the ability to buy or sell land, denied identity cards in many cases, and they suffered a lot. But during the civil war, the Sunni Arabs suffered hugely. And they suffered also under the Assad government, and different Druze communities also suffered. But that's not the main part of Syrian history over the last hundreds of years. So there is a way to find a peaceful Syria, but Syrians need to talk to each other.
Robert Ford, former US ambassador to Syria from 2011 to 2014. Really good to talk to you. Thank you very much for giving us your thoughts.
My pleasure. Thank you.